Hello, my name is Nicole Dillon, and I am the owner of Bremer Flower Farm. And I am located in Ashland, Virginia, which is Zone 7B. And I have a passion for teaching others about sustainable growing practices and how we can be better stewards of our land, taking small baby steps and making small changes in the way that we garden and the way that we take care of our landscapes. I also am a cut flower grower, so I grow peonies as well as um, other native cut flowers is my focus, and perennials. So today I thought that I would talk about monarch butterflies. And recently I had the opportunity to attend a workshop with the Xerces Society, and they are dedicated to protecting the nation's and maybe even the world's invertebrates. So they're a really great organization, and they provide workshops free of charge to anyone who wants to attend. They do get into the nitty gritty and lots of details, which I appreciate and like, but I understand that not everybody has the time to attend like hour-long workshops to better their skills and learn more information. So I thought what I would do is share with you my top 5 takeaways about monarch butterflies, because I was completely um, humbled by that workshop. I thought I knew the basics about monarchs, but based on like other documentaries that I've listened to in the past and a different reading I've done and things like that, but I really had no idea about monarchs and their importance and just how their migration patterns work and all of that. So I hope that this video shows you or shares with you some different facts that you didn't know before, and so that you can have a better appreciation for these little creatures. So I have created a little slideshow that I'm going to share with you, and then at the end of the presentation, I will give you some facts and information on what things that you can do to help protect the monarch butterflies. Also, I am a mom of 2 girls, and they are off on winter break. So if they interrupt me, you'll have to forgive me. And if they make any noise in the background, I also have 2 dogs. Just forgive me for that. But I'm doing the best that I can, and I appreciate your patience with that and for following along with me. So without further ado, I am going to share my screen with you. Okay, so this is a little presentation that I made that I will have available to you. I'll link it in the comments or in the info box below this, as well as all the resources too, so that you can access it later and refer back to it if you want. Another great thing that you can do is subscribe to my channel so that you can get important updates. I really hope in 2024, since I'm a new business owner, I'm kind of figuring social media out. I hope to be able to do a YouTube video about once a month on things going on the farm, different things that I learn, how-to videos and things like that. I hope to do that for you and to gain some more subscribers. So I'd so appreciate if you do that. And if you find this video helpful, please leave a comment about other things that you want to learn about, and like the video. That really helps me out a lot. So here we go. 5 cool facts about monarch butterflies. So the first thing that I learned and I thought was really cool about monarch butterflies is that they actually have chemical defenses to protect them against predators. So you can see here in the video that or not in the video, in the presentation, that this is a blue jay, and the blue jay has tried to eat the monarch butterfly, and then he got sick. Now, this particular butterfly is probably not going to survive, but what it does do is that it prevents the blue jay from ever eating an orange and black butterfly again because it got sick. So lots of species, they've adapted, monarch butterflies have adapted to be able to protect themselves based on chemicals in their body. And why is that? That's because the milkweed plant is their host plant for the caterpillar. Now, the caterpillar eats the milkweed, and the milkweed contains what's called cardiac glycosides. And They actually stay with the caterpillar from all the way throughout the entire life cycle of the butterfly, and they end up becoming mostly in their abdomen, but also there's evidence that the cardiac glycosides are also in their wings and every part of their body. So there are not very many animals that can tolerate the cardiac glycosides, so they have very few predators. There are two known bird species in Mexico and one mouse species in Mexico that can eat them without having an adverse reaction. But in the grand scheme of things, that's really not that many species of animals uh, that can harm them by eating them. Um, Really, people are a main predator by and habitat loss. So cars running into them and things like that. All right. The second thing that absolutely blew my mind and kind of like made me go, "Oh my gosh, I know absolutely nothing about monarch butterflies," is the fact that I can't e didn't even realize that there was a such thing as mimicry with them. So they're a really excellent example of mimicry. And to the untrained eye, like previously me, um, it's really difficult, or it can be difficult to know that the difference between a monarch and a viceroy butterfly. So viceroy butterflies have actually adapted to look like the monarch because of that cardiac glycoside that I talked about before. So um, birds and predators are going to leave it alone because they think also they're fooled, just like I was, um, that they are a monarch when in fact they're actually a viceroy. So if you look at the two pictures, I took both of these pictures thinking that they are monarch butterflies, and then listened to this presentation and was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So um, I happened to go make this presentation, and I like Googled in my Google Photos to bring up pictures of butterflies, and these two popped up. Now I know for a fact that I took these pictures thinking that they were monarchs, both monarchs. Now, which one is a monarch? Do you know? Do you know how to tell the difference? So if you look at both of them, they look very similar. There's one main difference, and that is going to be this line here on the two lower halves of the leaves. So if the butterfly has a line here, then that is a viceroy. It is not a monarch butterfly. I was mind blown by that because the viceroy is actually smaller than the monarch too, but not so much that you're gonna really notice it when they're individually by themselves. Now, if you have a monarch and a viceroy side by side, you can definitely tell that the monarch's bigger, but um, these were separate incidents or separate spottings, and I just didn't know the difference. So you don't know what you don't know, but that's why I'm sharing it with you, so that you can really tell if you are attracting monarchs. You need to be able to identify them correctly, and this one tricked me up. The third thing that just completely blew my mind is that there are actually three separate and distinct populations of monarch butterflies, that they live and migrate um, completely separate and completely different of each other. I had no idea. I thought all monarchs just went on to Mexico and that's how it went. No idea that there were actually three separate populations. So the first population is going to be the west of the Rockies population, and you can see how their migration patterns work back and forth between the coast of California and Baja California, and then back into the into the Midwest. The second population is going to be the eastern population, and that population is the one that we're most familiar with. They breed in all of the U.S. east of the Rockies, and they migrate down to Mexico in the winter where you see those beautiful, majestic forests just covered in butterflies. Now, one of the cool things that I learned is how in the world do you count? How do we have a pulse on how many butterflies there actually are that are migrating to Mexico and to these other areas as well? But I'm talking about the main group, the Eastern group that we're familiar with now. So the way that they do that is that they, looking at my notes, I took some notes. The butterflies migrate down to the fir forests of Sierra Chinqua and El Rosario Monarch Sanctuary, and they're counted based on hectares, so space of forest, so how many, the number is monitored by hectares of forest occupied. So however much of the forest is occupied um, by the butterflies, they are able to kind of guesstimate or get a pretty decent idea of how many butterflies are there. Some people do tag butterflies as well on the wings, but so they can track their exact patterns, but that's not what the bulk of how the bulk of them are measured or counted. And then there is a group that is still under the third group is still under a lot of research, and they're kind of developing the information on this, but there is a non-migratory population in Florida. So you can see this purple here on the map. That is the Florida population. They also could be migrating down into Cuba. Again, there's still a lot of research to be done in that area or for that population to find out, but it's believed that they stay there year round and they don't actually migrate anywhere outside of the state of Florida or into the Cuba area. So that was just kind of completely blew my mind. And this map here is from the Xerces Society, who put the workshop on that I attended. The other thing that I found interesting, or I didn't completely understand, I guess, is that I knew that but monarchs could have a long lifespan, but I thought it was for all of them. I thought all monarch butterflies, no matter um, just any monarch butterfly, had a long life, and that's just not the case. Um, so their monarchs can live up to 9 months. The thing that I learned is that there are, within each of these population groups, there are actually 3 to 4 generations of butterflies produced each year. So let's talk about that eastern group, that Mexico group. There is the butterflies that migrated to Mexico will, when it's time for them to migrate back up north, they will produce their first generation. It's called the first generation of butterflies for that season. Those butterflies will actually move north into the United States, and then they only live for 2 to 6 weeks. So they don't live very long. They live kind of standard to other insects for the most part. That all they do is, they're born, they reproduce, and then they die. That's how their life cycle goes, and they live such a short life, they believe, because of the hormones in their bodies. So their hormones tell them, get them to maturity. And maturity, their hormones have them breed, and then after they're done breeding, then they have completed their natural life process. What they're supposed to do, right, is continue species on. So that happens 3 to 4 times, and each generation moves further north into the United States, which I find this so fascinating. Then that 4th generation only is the group of butterflies that actually migrates and that actually has that up to 9-month long life cycle. So at that point, that 4th generation, temperature, availability of plants, all of that, it shuts down their hormones, their reproductive hormones, to allow them to migrate. So during that time, they focus on nectaring plants. That's why milkweed isn't the only thing you should be planting for for monarchs, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But their reproductive hormones shut down, allows them to migrate down to Mexico. They live out the winter there, and then when it's time for them to migrate back north, their hormones shoot up. They produce the first generation for the next year, and that process continues on and on. So super interesting to me, and just kind of blew my mind when it comes to understanding these magnificent little creatures. Okay, so the last one is kind of a grim statistic. Um, for every 100 monarch eggs laid, one survives to adulthood. Now, that's not 100% because of humans. Don't think, oh, humans are evil, killing all the butterflies. It's not that. I mean, there's lots of factors that go into this. Habitat use, pesticide use, climate change, cars. Those are the things that are influenced by people, but certainly there are other things that can cause their death too, that are just natural. The migration itself, it's hard. That's a long way to go. Predators, we talked about. So we talked about predators for the butterfly itself. There aren't very many, but for the caterpillar, there are predators for the caterpillar, especially if they haven't been able to consume a lot of those cardiac glycosides too. So there's ants, there's predatory wasps. There are several things in that presentation if you want to learn more about the predators to the caterpillars themselves. There were about 4 different predators, ants and wasps being one of them, I know for sure, or 2 of them that I know for sure. So anyways, 1 for every 100 survives to adulthood, which is crazy. So what do we do about it? Also in that presentation, there are charts to show you the fact that the monarch population has been on a drastic decline since the 90s. I'm not going into that today. I just wanted to share really cool facts, get you pumped up and excited about how cool these creatures are. So what can we do to help? So there's the Xerces Society has put out a lot of great resources to help you. So the first one is going to be regional milkweed guides. So if you click on the regional milkweed guide link that is in this presentation, and also that'll be linked in this presentation. Then you'll get to this page. You can scroll down and there's lots of different guides for particular states. Virginia doesn't have a particular one, but if you go down to this regional roadside habitat for monarchs, you can find your state or your region. So for Virginia, you would click on the Mid-Atlantic region, and then it'll let you download the PDF. And the PDF looks like this. Milkweeds in the Mid-Atlantic. So this covers Delaware, DC, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia. And you can see the different milkweeds that you should be growing. Now, this is also a mistake that I made. I am almost certain I'm going to wait until my plants bloom again, or start growing again, coming out of dormancy in the spring and summer, and see. But I am almost positive that I've planted tropical milkweed. And I got it from a garden center, thinking I'm doing a great job and helping out the butterflies, only to find out that I planted tropical milkweed. And tropical milkweed is not something that you want in Virginia. Tropical milkweed tells the butterflies that they are getting close to the spot that they need to be. The tropical milkweed grows naturally all over Mexico and in the forest of Mexico and things like that. And you do not want them trick those little guys into thinking that they have almost reached their destination. So it's really important that you provide them with the correct milkweed for your area. And don't trust garden centers. Go to this resource, easy to find. If you want to pull it up through me, or just go to the Xerces, or you can just Google roadside milkweed roadside habitats for monarchs, and it should pop up as one of the first things too, if you're out and about and trying at a garden center trying to figure out if it's the right one. So those are the different milkweeds, and those are going to be your plants for caterpillars and for egg laying and all of that stuff. All right, then, wow, if I can get back. The second thing that I have on here is nectaring plants. The one thing I didn't know, I thought it was like milkweed, 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 plant on the milkweed, and then I planted the wrong milkweed. Like, ugh, gosh, you don't know what you don't know. So I'm trying to help you and help myself too. All a journey. Gardening is a journey. There's always something to learn. So if you click on the nectar plant guides, nectar plants, and in this presentation, the gentleman that led it, said, milkweed is important, but the nectaring plants in the fall are the most important. That's what gives them the energy to migrate to Mexico so that monarch generations can continue on. So let's look at nectaring plants. Actually, I can go back and show you how I got there. Click on the link here. It's on the Xerces Society Monarch Nectaring Plant Guides. Scroll on down, and you can filter by state. Virginia, apply. And there you go, Mid-Atlantic region. So you can click that. And then they have a web version and a printer-friendly version, whichever one you would like. It looks like this. Gives you lots of information. And then what I really like is that it gives you pictures. It gives you kind of this table of plants that are nectaring plants, which has your milkweeds, some of your milkweeds on there too. But it gives you 20 nectaring shrubs or nectaring plants, flowering plants, and then 4 shrubs, trees, and vines. It tells you their scientific name, so you make sure you get the right thing, what colors they come in, the size that they get, if they're drought tolerant or not based on their water needs, and then some notes about why they are important, important to that particular animal. And then I really love that they're numbered and there's pictures of every single plant on this list, which is amazing to me. I love that. Pictures really help you to make better plant choices because, gardening, yeah, I'm all about helping pollinators and helping different animals, but I also want it to look pretty, right? And that's the problem, I think, with natives is that it's difficult to kind of pull out the or like sift through all the plants to find the ones that are aesthetically pleasing to you, because we all want beautiful gardens, right? And it's also kind of a balance thing, and anyways. So here's some highlight ones I want to highlight. This number 2, Joe Pieweed. This picture here doesn't do it justice. I love Joe Pieweed. It has weed in the name, so it's like I'll plant that, but Joe Pieweed is pretty cool. It can be super tall. They've also come out with cultivars because the Joe Pieweed that grows out in the wild is really tall. And I know that doesn't always work for everyone's landscape. I do have the standard straight species in my garden. And it's great. They are wet. They tolerate wet feet. So I actually have it coming. I have it planted like right next to my gutter where rainwater comes out. So, and it really likes it there. It is prone to powdery mildew though. So just FYI, I don't really worry about it. It doesn't really seem to affect the life of the plant. It doesn't kill it off. It's just when you get later in the summer, it isn't so pretty. But the flowers and the umbels are so pretty, and they put off these big umbels of pink flowers, and the butterflies love it, the bees love it, the hummingbirds love it, all the pollinators love it. So I definitely plant that one. There's a tall one, there's like a medium size, and then there's one that's shorter. I believe it's called Little Joe, but there are 3 different sizes of them, and they're all great. So definitely put some Joe Pieweed in your garden. And then Monarda is another one. That's bee balm is the more common name. The other ones I love, Liatris. I didn't realize that until I pulled this up to do this video, that Liatris is actually a good nectaring plant. So I'm gonna get some more of those bulbs and put those in. I have a few Liatris. Last year I got some white ones because they were all out of the purple ones. So this year I've got to get the purple ones, especially since I know that it's beneficial. What else is on here that struck me? Of course, the most commonly planted native plant in the US, I believe. Definitely in our area, the most commonly planted native plant is Rudbeckia, the black-eyed Susan. So that is going to be, where is the picture of it? Ah, right here. Big old monarch on there. Down here, this is kind of cool, little type of sunflower, special type of sunflower. Asters are super important. They look beautiful when a lot of other things are fading away. So definitely put some asters in your garden. This is another type of bee balm I thought was pretty cool. Sorry. My daughter's alarm to remind me to take her to dance class. There's no dance class tonight. So, anyways, apologies for that. I thought this was really cool. I think it's called Spotted Bee Balm, number 18. Yeah, Spotted Bee Balm. It's drought tolerant. It's pretty cool. And then number 22 is Buttonbush. They're so cool. Actually, I think that picture of the real monarch that I took was on Buttonbush. You can only see the foliage in the picture, but we have Buttonbush growing wild around our lakes and ponds, and it's so cool. And you can actually buy it and put it in your landscape too. Also liking wet areas too, and it needs moderate amount of water, but it's okay in a wet climate anyways too. So other resources here, information about pesticides. What else can you do? You can actually report your monarch sightings. This helps the Xerces Society know what monarchs are nectaring on, and expanding this list hopefully, and making sure that those plants are planted on their routes to Mexico. So you can do that by clicking on this link, and you're going to come up with a survey. And you can fill out the information. Now, it does require you to put a picture in there. And from the presentation that I took, as long as you know how to identify correctly, which if you watch this, I've now told you how to identify correctly a monarch butterfly, you can put in any picture of a monarch butterfly that you find. If you can get a picture of the one that you saw, that's even better. But if not, don't sweat it. Go ahead and still report that data. It's really helpful for monarch research. And then the thing that I did not put on here, there's a link to the full length workshop on here. And the thing that I did not put on here is Journey North. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick for you. Journey North. So Journey North is the organization that maps monarchs. So if you want to learn more about monarch migrations, you can, looks like they do several different things, but monarchs, click on monarchs and look at just how magnificent they are. And you can find the maps. I saw maps right here, view maps. Yeah. And there are several different maps of monarch migrations, which is pretty dang cool. Anyways, all right. Well, I'm going to stop my sharing my screen now and come back to you. And just wanted to thank you if you've listened this far. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video if you found it helpful and impactful to you. And please feel free to reach out to me. I love to hear from you guys. You can write comments with any questions that you have, or you can email me at nicole@bremarflowerfarm.com, and Bremar has 2 E's. Breemar, named after my two girls. Until next time, I am starting the Hanover County Master Gardener Program. So I think over the next few months, I'm going to be kind of video vlogging about my experience with that course. And just I'll be updating you guys throughout about what I'm doing in my garden, any sustainability things that I learn about, all of that. So thank you, and I hope that you are having a amazing new year. Bye.